Good afternoon, people. Welcome to Barbershop Talk with me, Alonzo Good, your urban sports guru. And I'm here to cover your favorite sports topics for the week. Call the show Barbershop Talk because it's completely unfiltered. We're going to give you the real shit just like what you hear at your local barbershop. Now, this past week in our first story, the Clippers traded Blake Griffin. They traded Blake Griffin to the Detroit Pistons, trading him for Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, who's going to be a free agent, Bojan Marjanovic, plus a protected first and second round pick. They also gave away Bryce Johnson and Willie Reed, just threw that in the package, try to make the money work out. I have to call a spade a spade. I have to be honest here. And LeBron James said something about this week about there being a double standard when dealing with front offices and players. And I think he's 100% correct. The Los Angeles Clippers just signed Blake Griffin to a 5-year, $175 million deal this past summer. And you already trade him not less than halfway through the season. If an athlete in any sport were to sign for 5 years, $175 million, and then less than halfway through the season tweet that he wanted to be traded, y'all would kill him. Y'all would call him spoiled. Y'all would call him a bitch ass nigga and all types of other fuckery. But it's okay when a front office does it. There's a lot of things about LeBron James inside the lines of basketball that I don't agree with, but this right here, he is 100% correct. This is some bullshit, and on top of it all, it's been said by Blake Griffin himself, he wasn't even told. He found out on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, this is some bullshit. This is some real bullshit. Let me hear your thoughts. Send me emails, bstusg@gmail.com. That is bstusg@gmail.com. They traded him, though. I'm not against them trading him. It's just about how they went about it. Because the reality is that Clippers team was not going to win a championship. Even if they re-signed Chris Paul, that team has huge holes on the wing. Wing meaning the shooting guard, the small forward positions. That's basically what's held them back. When you look at the teams that they have lost to these last few years, they've lost to teams that had good players on the wing. They just lost last year to Utah. Who did they have? Joe Johnson and what the hell is his name? The kid from Butler. That shooting guard and small forward, and they killed him. They end up losing the series that they should have won to Houston because of James Harden and Corey Brewer and the rest of the crew that they had there, Trevor Ariza. When they go against teams that have a lot of guys from 6'5" to 6'9" playing in those positions, they can't compete. They literally cannot compete at all. So I think they did a good thing by trading him, but this should have been done in the offseason. That's when it should have been done. Maybe they wanted to have some kind of loyalty to him by still making sure he gets his money. You know, because the NBA contract is guaranteed no matter what. He's going to get every penny of that 175, and God bless him for it. Him moving to the Eastern Conference, he's basically on a team, I don't want to say equivalent to what he had in LA, but as far as the Eastern Conference, yeah. They're going to win, they could win 50 games, but they're not coming out the East. They're still a player away from coming out the East. I like Drummond. I like Drummond a lot. I think he could do some things offensively that DeAndre Jordan can't do. I like their point guard, Reggie Jackson. If they would have been able to keep Tobias Harris to go along with that, then I think you'd be cooking with something. You know what I'm saying? You could really make a statement that you're challenging Boston to at least be in the mix, to be that team to at least play the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. None of them are going to beat Cleveland. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. What anybody says about how Cleveland's, all the bullshit they're going through. At the end of the day, they have too much talent. They have a super team. They're the only super team in the Eastern Conference. This is why LeBron goes to the finals every fucking year. Point blank, period. But if Detroit can make more moves, then this will be a good look. But they have a lot of money tied into Blake Griffin now. because you signed him because he's in the first year of his deal. They got a lot of money tying into Drummond, who I do like, and I am impressed that he fixed his free throws. Not great, but a significant upgrade from what he's been in years past. Significant upgrade. I like the point guard Jackson, but they still have the same problem that the Clippers had. They have nobody on the wings. Nobody. So they have holes. They have holes. But if the front office there can do something about it, then maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe next year. Because I would like to see some of these superstars, because the West is so loaded. I would love to see some of these superstars come back to the Eastern Conference. Because basically there's one super team in the Eastern Conference right now. And that is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I'll speak about them a little bit later in the show. There's every other team in the Eastern Conference is just a good team. You know, Boston, maybe if they had Gordon Hayward, that was his name. His name left me for a second. Boston, even if they had Gordon Hayward, I don't know if they play a focus Cav team that they beat them in a 7-game series. I don't give a shit. I just don't give a shit. Cleveland has so much talent on that team. It's a roll of the dice to keep it 100 with y'all. Washington, hell no. I don't give a fuck. Give them a healthy John Wall. I don't give a shit. They don't have enough. Milwaukee is the team that intrigues me a lot in the Eastern Conference because of Giannis Antetokounmpo. There are, say, in my opinion, about 8, maybe 9 superstars in the league. And real bona fide superstars where I say, you get this guy and you can try to win a championship today. Not hoping what he could be a few years from now, but you could try to win a championship today with him. And Giannis is one of those guys for me. Giannis, I think, is that good. He doesn't quite have the team. If Jabari Parker, who came back yesterday, was 100% healthy and balling the way he was last year before his injury, then Milwaukee will be more into the mix, in my opinion. They'll be more into the mix. There'll be more of those teams that be right there to try to challenge Cleveland come playoff time. Because regular season don't mean shit when it comes to Cleveland. Don't mean a damn thing. I mean, all that shit is headlines. That's all it is. That's all it is. Come playoff time, they have so much talent. Isaiah Thomas was an MVP candidate last year, and right now he's the second best player on that team, maybe the third best. Kevin Love, an all-star, 17-10 guy. This is a guy who's capable, as you've seen on Minnesota, a 500 team in the Western Conference, was averaging 26-13, and he's their third option. You have Dwayne Wade, a future Hall of Famer, a future first ballot Hall of Famer, a guy who is still capable, as you've seen last year, of averaging 18-19 a game. He's coming off the bench and he's the fourth option. Cleveland has too much talent to not come out the Eastern Conference. They're coming out of there. But let me move forward. They announced, it was announced this week that Triple G, it was announced this week that Triple G and Canelo Alvarez will be having their rematch on May 5th. May 5th, 2018. Some other reports are saying either in Vegas or Madison Square Garden. But for fight fans, we've all been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this. I know a lot of people liked the first fight. I did. It didn't get completely how I wanted it to be, but I still love the first fight. The intrigue in this fight for me, just keeping it on the eye, I want to see if Triple G is going to make the adjustments that he did not make before. In watching the first fight, in my background in boxing, I'm watching the first fight, and I'm seeing the adjustments that he could make, but he did not do it. I think he did not do it, partially to Canelo's counterpunching. Secondly, because he was winning round after round after round. because of Canelo's inactivity. So one of the adjustments he could have made, Canelo was doing very, very well against Triple G when he kept himself in the pocket. You'll hear this terminology a lot when you see shows like this. And the pocket, when they say it, basically is being able to stand in front of your opponent and keep yourself in a defensive stance, kind of like what you see right here, where you're deflecting the right hand, you're rolling with the punch here, and you're keeping your right hand up here to block against the left hook. That's something that Canelo did very, very well. He blocked so many left hooks from Triple G, it was ridiculous. But like I tell guys all the time, it's not just about the big one-punch knockout punch. What is hard to be in there with a puncher is it's hard to be in there with a guy where everything he hits you with hurts. It's one thing if he catches you with that one big shot in the chin, bow, you know, you get the bobblehead and then you end up going down. But when everything he hits you with hurts, and this is the kind of fighter that Triple G is, every single thing he's hitting you with hurts. So even the punches you're blocking, as you saw with Canelo, the punches he was blocking, the left hooks, had so much force, even though he blocked it, soon as he got that, he hauled ass. And that's why, even though he was having success being in the pocket, being in front of him, being able to beat him to the punch because he was that much faster, soon as he got something like that, he hauled ass. He's going to have to stay in the pocket longer because he was having success. The longer he stays in there, the chances of more success, also the more chances of him getting hit. But the adjustment that Triple G, I was waiting to see him make, that I've seen him do in previous fights, was when you have a fighter who's taken that stance, that's basically been made famous by Floyd Mayweather. Not everyone could be Floyd, but when they're doing the shoulder roll and they're keeping that left shoulder up, keeping that chin tucked, and they're rolling with every single punch, every single right hand, which Canelo did beautifully against him, did that roll, spent out, and that's how he was able to get out of danger. One adjustment I've seen him make in previous fights, and ladies and gentlemen, do not take my word as golden. Please do your own research. I'll tell you right now. Look at Triple G versus, was it Triple G, not William Monroe. It was, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. I won't remember the guy's name in a minute. But he knocked the guy out in the second round who tried to do the same thing. This was a fight he had in 2016. And a guy tried to do the same thing, black dude. He literally hit him in the shoulder and knocked him down. The guy had his chin tucked, hit him in the shoulder, knocked him down. And through the whole Canelo fight, I was waiting to see him make that adjustment and just pound Canelo in the shoulder 3-4 times real good. Because what that does is effectively, you're deflecting the punch from not going onto your chin, let it go to your shoulder, then you could counter back with your own right hand, or you could just spin out like Canelo was doing. But what that does when you make that counter where the guy thinks you're going to hit him in the chin, but you're actually aiming for the shoulder. When you do that a few times, you're going to kill his shoulder. Even if he doesn't go down like in this particular fight, and the guy he's fought is leaving my brain at the moment, but even if he doesn't go down, you're killing his shoulder. So you kill his left shoulder, you kill his left hand. You kill his left shoulder, you kill his left hook. And in that fight, if you notice, Canelo was killing Triple G in the early rounds with his left hook to the body. He was finishing off every combination with a left hook to the body, and it was bothering Gennady. You've seen Gennady eventually start bringing his arm down. He started bringing his arm down to protect against that left hook, and he took it away. This would be another way he could do to take that left hook away. Take it away from Canelo. As soon as he takes that away from him, then Canelo will be right there for the picking. There'll be nothing Canelo could do. There'll be absolutely nothing that Canelo could do. He takes that away. Then he could start working the body, which I was actually surprised that he did not even try to do in the first fight. And that's just one of a few adjustments that I think he can make that will make this fight easy for him. He makes that adjustment, then I think this fight goes 6 rounds. No more than 6 rounds. He's too devastating a puncher. He's the kind of puncher, like I said, where it's not just a big one Hercules punch. Everything he hits you with hurts. I'm going to say this again for a fact. Everything he hits you with hurts. So even the punches you're deflecting, even the punches you're blocking hurt. I can't stress enough how hard it is to go against an opponent like that. So Canelo may have more confidence now going into now the rematch, knowing the little successes he was having in the first fight. He lost that fight, in my opinion. I scored it 115, 113 for Triple G. He lost that fight mainly because of inactivity. He will fight hard for 1 minute of the round. Then after that, he hauled ass. He'd run. And Gennady just kept piling on points, piling on points, piling on points. He didn't have to knock him out. I figured, seeing the way Triple G's fights throughout his whole career, that he would try to knock him out regardless. But in my opinion, I think he felt that he was so far ahead in points, just keep piling on points, wait for him to start fighting more. But that never came. It never came. It never happened. However, Canelo's going to have more confidence. Maybe he does believe he can knock Gennady out because he was so much faster. And anyone in boxing will tell you the hardest punch you can ever get hit with is the punch you don't see coming. The way he was effectively counterpunching it, Gennady didn't see some of those punches coming. So no matter how great your chin is, if you don't see the punch coming, you can get hit with something where you touch the ground. Even for Gennady, who throughout 350 amateur fights and now 38 professional fights, has not been knocked down, not once. So that should let you know how great a chin this man has. But on top of my head, I understand Canelo has some things going for him. But the adjustments that Gennady has to make are doable, even if he is slow. They are very, very doable. And he's not just a guy who hits hard, he's technical. This guy's a former Olympian. He's not just in there swinging wild. Gennady Golovkin is a killing machine. And if you catch him on the right night, that's going to be your ass. Point blank period. I think he did enough to win the first fight. He got robbed. You know, De La Hoya paid somebody off. You know, well, know how that goes in boxing. But I take Triple G. I take Triple G in that one. And our next story. This week it was reported that the Golden State Warriors will extend a meeting to LeBron James during free agency. Now LeBron has basically, he did it really yesterday after practice, basically stood in front of cameras and shitted on the entire story. Like, look, I have nothing to do with that, and I will take him at his word. But he also made some comments after Blake Griffin got traded, talking about the double standard, and he's 100% correct. But also, the reason why I think he said that, he is laying down the groundwork for him leaving Cleveland again. He's out of there. Cleveland fans, deal with it. He's gone. He's gone. And I know right now that they're having an issue between him and front office. Front office wants him to resign long term for another 3 to 5 years. He wants front office to use that Brooklyn pick. Brooklyn, as of right now, have only won 19 games. They're about the 4th worst record. So they got a chance of getting the #1 pick. And if any of you are watching college basketball, I'm a big Duke fan. And in saying that, LeBron James plays small forward. He's an all-word player. He plays small forward, though. if you pay attention, the number one pick in the draft is very likely to be my Dookie, Marvin Bagley Jr., small forward. So if you're Dan Gilbert and you're running things as much as Dan Gilbert is a fucking idiot and should not be trusted, him knowing LeBron is ready to leave, why the fuck should he get rid of that pick that could end up being the guy who could come right into that spot LeBron left and y'all still can be a great team? Why should he? I mean, like, if I'm Dan Gilbert, I can't believe I'm saying this for this one reason. This one reason alone, I'm actually siding with Dan Gilbert if he keeps the pick. I'm actually siding with Dan Gilbert. Yes, I said it. Urban Sports Guru, I said it. I mean, you got a chance to get Marvin Bagley and you know LeBron's out of there. Only decision you're going to have to make now is if you're going to pay Isaiah. You can more afford to pay Isaiah now. Why? Because you're not paying LeBron. He's leaving. You could pay Isaiah, draft Bagley. Still got Love and Tristan under contract. A front line with Marvin Bagley Jr., Kevin Love, and Tristan Thompson. But Isaiah Thomas is your point guard? Psst. Is he as good as LeBron James? Hell no. But if LeBron is leaving, that's a damn good consolation prize. I'm just saying. I have no issue with him leaving Cleveland. I don't. I think he's going to leave Cleveland again. I have no issue with it. Where I do have an issue is LeBron James has had a super team. And I said this last week. LeBron James has never played on a great team. He went from a shit team in Cleveland, his first go-around. He went from that straight to super team. Some shit that dudes put together on PlayStation that has never ever been put together in real life. He skipped being on a great team. And we've seen throughout the history of basketball what great teams could do. Michael had great teams. He repeated. Magic had great teams. He repeated, ended up winning 5. San Antonio, not a super team, great team. They eventually won 5. Never won 2 in a row. Shaq and Kobe, a great team. They three-peated. You know what I'm saying? The Rockets, back-to-back, great team. LeBron James has had a super team since 2011. And yes, he repeated in Miami. Thanks to Ray Allen. But it's just, he has not done with a super team equivalent to what gets done with great teams. So basically saying the Avengers aren't enough for him. I'm not saying that to be funny. Ever since he's gone to Miami, I've called it, I said LeBron and the Avengers. Anybody that knows me has heard me say that 100 times. And now, since he went back to Cleveland, built up a new Avengers roster, because that's what they are. They're a super team. And they still get smoked by Golden State. Now the Avengers aren't enough for you. The Avengers aren't enough. He wants the Avengers and the Justice League. This is the fuckery this dude's going to do. He's going to go to Houston, and he's going to bring DeAndre Jordan with him. So they're going to have a starting lineup. LeBron James. No, Chris Paul, James Harden, LeBron James, DeAndre Jordan, and the shooter. What the hell's that white boy name? Like, what the fuck else do you want to win a championship? Like, this makes me think of a couple of years ago when Charles Barkley called him out, saying LeBron James doesn't want to compete. And a lot of people, like, they shoot the messenger instead of hearing the message. This is the type of shit he was talking about. Like, what the fuck else do you want? And I hate this narrative that I hear when I watch these shows saying LeBron has to do so much. No, he doesn't. Because last year's team, you had Kyrie. Everybody's saying Kyrie's a one-trick pony. Kyrie's doing a hell of a lot more in Boston right now, is he not? You replace Kyrie with Isaiah Thomas, an MVP candidate. Yes, he's getting his legs back coming off an injury, but isn't he, when healthy, capable of more? Isn't Kevin Love, a guy who was averaging 26 and 13, capable of doing more than you just saying, okay, stand your ass out there and shoot three-pointers? Wasn't Chris Bosh the one who said something the second Kevin Love came to Cleveland and let him know this is what's going to happen when you play with LeBron? You're going to be relegated to a three-point shooter. Stay out there. And you wonder why numbers can go from 26 and 13 to 17 and 10. Yes, he is the third option, and I'm not saying he should be the first option over LeBron James, but goddamn, this whole LeBron has to do so much more than Kevin Durant, and no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. When you just look at Golden State and you look at Cleveland, LeBron, KD, you had Kyrie, you had Kyrie, now you got Isaiah, you got Steph. You got Kevin Love. You have Klay Thompson. You have Tristan Thompson. You got Draymond Green. In my humble opinion, the Cleveland Cavaliers made a fatal flaw when they started trying to play Golden State basketball. That's where they fucked up. They had something brewing when they had Mozgov, Love, and Thompson coming off the bench. That trio of bigs couldn't be fucked with. Especially since you have a guy like Kevin Love who can play on the inside and score, but he can step out and shoot threes. Mozgov was a great rim protector. Even when Kevin Love got hurt, you had Mozgov and Thompson each giving you double figures, each giving you great rim protection, and each being able to be an effective finisher in the paint. On both sides of the ball, they were controlling the paint. Even in this new NBA where it's all about threes, when you're able to control the paint, that means a lot. It is not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence that that team, with no Kyrie and no Kevin Love, took Golden State to 6 games. But last year's team, with everybody, only went 5. You try to play Golden State basketball. You had 1 game where you made a lot of threes. After that, what? 5 games. That's it. I mean, and that's pretty much what's going to happen this year. Because Golden State, say what you want, they're a super team. But they're a bunch of guys who play with each other, play for each other. In my opinion, though, Cleveland, no matter what they're going through, like I said, they're going to go through the finals. Because there's nobody in the East that can really, really challenge them come playoff time. Golden State, however, are not the only super team in the Western Conference. They have a real challenge for Houston. And everyone's saying Houston. I do think Houston presents a real challenge, but the biggest challenge to me, in my opinion, is the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I say that because, first and foremost, nobody's going to want to beat Kevin Durant more than Russell Westbrook. That's one. Secondly, with him, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony, you have scoring. Thirdly, and most importantly, the reason why OKC took Golden State to 7 games a couple of years ago is because of Steven Adams. Steven Adams, Enes Kanter, Serge Ibaka. That trio right there, they balled. They balled the fuck out. Steven Adams earned his $100 million deal based off the way he dominated Draymond Green in that series. So when they made the deal for Paul George and they made the deal for Carmelo Anthony, they're going to be able to score. When you have a guy like Carmelo Anthony, my guy, who has scored 25,000 points in his career, and he's your third option, scoring's not going to be a problem. It seemed like they finally getting their shit together as far as knowing how to share the ball. But the fact that they did that and was still able to keep Steven Adams, what he brings to them defensively, while being a finisher on the offensive end, I don't see Golden State being able to deal with him. Their bigs are going to have to play excessively well. Last year they had JaVale McGee in the stretch run and the playoff run who balled out for them. They're going to need some kind of play like that. Because I think Steven Adams presents more problems for them than Clint Capella does in Houston. That's just my opinion. My opinion. Now, in our last story for the day, we had Super Bowl week. And we have the New England Patriots once again. New England Patriots once again against the Philadelphia Eagles. People are asking me about who's my pick and why. And first of all, let me hear your thoughts once again. Your thoughts on any of the topics, on anything. Send me emails. That is bstusg@gmail.com. That is bstusg@gmail.com. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe. And you'll be able to see me whatever video I pop up. But anyway, me being a Giant fan, I gotta be honest, there is a small piece of me that doesn't want another quarterback to have a Super Bowl win over Tom Brady. I'll admit it, I'll be honest, like I said, the show's called Barbershop Talk. We're gonna tell the truth here. And in telling the truth, I just told y'all, America, that's the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. But anyway, I'm picking the Patriots for this one reason. You've heard all week, all these pundits have talked about the blueprint to stop Tom Brady. You have to be able to rush the quarterback. You have to be able to do it with 4 guys. You got to be able to play coverage. You got to hit the receivers hard and all these. None of that is incorrect. None of that is incorrect. Even with that being said, we held him to 14 points in one Super Bowl, I believe 17 points in the other one. With all that being said, Tom Brady was able to still get a rhythm. Tom Brady is such a great quarterback, even with that game plan, he's still going to get off a little bit. I kind of equate it to basketball where he's a scorer who's still going to get his 30, but he'll take 30 shots to get his 30. If this is making any sense to you. He's still going to get a certain amount of points, but if you pay attention to those 2 Super Bowls that we beat him, I ask you, America, this one question. Who won MVP in those Super Bowls? My guy, Eli Manning. Why did he win MVP in those Super Bowls? He won MVP in those Super Bowls because he took my Giants down both times for game-winning touchdown drives. This is why we beat them both times. As great as our defense played, let's not forget, in the first Super Bowl, right before we got the ball that last time, Tom Brady drove his team down and threw what was supposed to be the game-winning touchdown to Randy Moss. So we were then forced to, we need a touchdown to win. And Eli came through and Super Bowl MVP. In the second Super Bowl, we were rolling. In my opinion, we was on our way to blowing that game open. But there was a bad holding call on the 3rd and 1. We ended up having a punt. Then Tom Brady got a rhythm. They got a lead. So Tom did his job. But then the defense, once again, gave up a game-winning touchdown drive to my guy, Eli. The point I'm trying to make here is no matter how great the Philadelphia Eagles defense plays, no matter how great they play, come 4th quarter, it's going to come down to Nick Foles. 2 weeks ago, I sat right here in this chair and I picked the Jacksonville Jaguars. Because of how much I love their defense, but also because I drank the Kool-Aid about Blake Bortles. Now, Blake Bortles made me look like a genius for 3 quarters. Come fourth quarter, he did not get one singular first down. Now, what Bill Belichick is greatest at, not just preparation, but situational football. And that manifests itself because he doesn't have the greatest talent, in particularly, this year he doesn't have the greatest talent, in particularly on the front seven. And that's how teams are able to get their stuff off against them. They're able to run the football and things of that nature in ways that they previously weren't able to. But when you look at some of his other Super Bowl wins, and you look at that particular game, the AFC Championship game, situational football. Those guys make those plays in the fourth quarter when they need to. They didn't give up a single first down to Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars in the fourth quarter. Let's take it back to last year's Super Bowl. They got up to a big lead. Matt Ryan, now the game is in your hand. The game is in the balance. All you need to do, the onlyest thing you need to do, one field goal shuts the whole game down. Situational football. The Patriots come up with the play. Dante Hightower with the sack. Let's take it back against Seattle. My God, I love this dude. Russell Wilson. Driving his team down for what looks like going to be the game-winning touchdown. Yes, that was the stupidest call in Super Bowl history. I sat there so dumbfounded because I couldn't believe what the fuck I saw. Give it the beast mode. I get it. I get it. I know y'all are screaming at the screen right now. I get it. With all that being said, Malcolm Butler made the play. Because Malcolm Butler recognized the formation. Because Malcolm Butler put in the film work. He was prepared. Situational football. They're the best at it. They're the best who've ever done it. Because of Belichick, it's going to come down to Nick Foles. Even though Philly's more talented a team, I have to take the New England Patriots. I have to. With that being said, if Carson Wentz was playing, I'd take Philly and I wouldn't think twice about it. I would not think twice about it. Carson Wentz is a fucking problem. But with Nick Foles, I expect him to play well for 3 quarters. I know he has a chip on his shoulder, but I expect him to play well for 3 quarters. Come fourth quarter, I expect that Belichick magic to come through, like it always does. That Philadelphia defense is going to be able to do some things against Tom Brady, but Tom Brady is going to get his off to some degree, and eventually come fourth quarter, I expect to see the Patriots make plays that the Philadelphia Eagles just can't make. That's what it comes down to. For those of y'all that have watched this show, I appreciate it. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. See you next time. Please.